got kin in North Carolina. Shout out to Rocky Mount. I got kin that were facing the prospect of looking up at mini soldier in schools and in state office buildings. Huh? Or mini soldier. That's kind of like an alter ego kind of deal.
He was once a 5 nights a week attendee at multiple porn shops where he often brought a pizza into a private booth with him.
That's the side we went on. The other side of that newsstand.
Pizza? It was pizza, wasn't it?
And when I say it got dark, it got real dark.
How dark, Mark Robinson? How dark? Nude Africa dark? Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make society worse.
Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing. It's time for somebody to say it. It's not a matter of vengeance. It's not a matter of being mean or spiteful. It's a matter of necessity.
You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
I don't know what's going on in the world today. I really don't. Up is down, right is left. It's cheaper and faster to drive than to fly. Got countries voting against condemning the transatlantic slave trade. I can't call it. I can't. Hey, Trump, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
Commander. IRGC's Navy commander was killed overnight in operation. So no Navy leader. Now that here's the thing about the media though, if President Trump had not acted, you'd be screaming, why not?
You can't even depend on the weather no more.
We don't have any rain in our forecast, but something that is in the not so distant future that we can forecast is Midland weather radio.
Did you say you don't have any rain in the forecast?
In the next few days. But in the next 2 days, we have Midland Weather Radio Day.
I just said a second ago we have rain in the forecast.
Well, not until this weekend, right?
Well, the day of the event I have rain.
Well, I'm not talking, I'm talking like 3 or 4 days.
It's coming, actually, the rain chance is coming before the event.
Stop trying to correct people and just do your job.
I just don't know why you don't listen to me. Anyways, take a look at
your
side.
boring.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, anyways, Midland Weather Radio Days.
What'd she say? He was boring? Ain't weather supposed to be boring? If the weather ain't boring, that's biblical weather. We don't want that. No. But make sure you check in on them because I want to see where that situation gonna go. It's no telling what's waiting for us around the next corner.
No.
Mark Robinson admits I lied about CNN's story. Former North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson admitted he lied about a bombshell CNN K-file investigation during the final months of his 2024 gubernatorial campaign, uncovering his extensive history of posting inflammatory and racist comments on a corn website. Mark Robinson taking accountability? I didn't see that coming. Nah, I didn't see that coming. The fact that he lied, I saw that coming. I saw that coming. But him admitting it? No. Can we ask him specifically why he chose to post inflammatory and racist comments there? They didn't come there for that. They came there for release, not for additional stress. You know what I mean? If anything, the people that were on the website should have took up issue with Mark Robinson.
I'll let everybody in here know that this man is rude.
Robinson initially denied the report and sued CNN for $50 million that fall as he marched on with his gubernatorial campaign. Robinson eventually lost to current Democratic Governor Josh Stein by more than 14 points. Not as bad as he lost that lawsuit. I ain't seen a lawsuit get laughed at that badly since, well, Afro Man. It just happened. I guess there was also Afro Man.
Yeah, we did it, America. Yeah, we did it. Freedom of speech.
Yes. I was on the website that Mark Robinson was posting inflammatory comments. I was just looking for a distraction from the world and from my family. And he brought me right back to the origin of my pain. Do I have grounds for a lawsuit?
I am shocked and chagrined, mortified and stupefied.
Now, in a recent podcast interview, Robinson has acknowledged his deception and that he had an obsession with corn and sex. He says he lied about the CNN report to protect those around him, including President Donald Trump, because it was the most expedient thing to do. Okay, first of all, there's not much that happens anywhere at any time that isn't the most expedient thing to do. You ain't telling nobody nothing. You coming now and giving the podcast is the most expedient thing to do because you couldn't go home again. We remember what was said, and not just by you.
This idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her, what America are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees? I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
And then you said,
getting ready to get in trouble, called to be led by men. God sent women out when he was supposed to do, when they had to do that thing. But when it was time to face down Goliath, sent David, not Devita, David.
And then you said,
everybody knows that abortion in this country is not about protecting the lives of mothers. It is about convenience. It is about abortion on demand. That is exactly what it's about. It's about killing a child because you weren't responsible enough to keep your skirt down.
And then there was that time you said,
you know, I thought about this a lot, Jeff, and, you know, if I had all the power right now, let's say I was the governor, I had a willing legislature, we could pass a bill say you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
And somehow, this man was the Republican nominee for North Carolina governor, a place I hold near and dear to my heart. I got kin in North Carolina. Shout out to Rocky Mount. I got kin that were facing the prospect of looking up at mini soldier in schools and in state office buildings. Huh? Or mini soldier. That's kind of like an alter ego kind of deal.
Republicans are positively freaking the heck out. You see, the deadline to withdraw from the state's gubernatorial election is 4 hours from now. The state Republican Party really wants its candidate, Mark Robinson, to drop out. Even by the standards of Donald Trump's hand-picked freaks and geeks, Mark Robinson is a uniquely terrible candidate. He's got a history, open history of rank anti-Semitism, along with a bunch of other bigoted statements. He's made grotesque anti-abortion ads accusing women of not being responsible enough to keep your skirt down. Just 2 weeks ago, he had to deny a report that he was once a 5 nights a week attendee at multiple porn shops where he often brought a pizza into a private booth with him.
Now, the last time we heard from Mark Robinson, he was once again blaming other people for his strokes of bad luck. Now, I said bad luck. I said bad luck. Not them kind of strokes.
Supporters out there that stuck with me to the very end. I mean, absolutely stuck with me to the very end. I'm not going to call out those who didn't. They know who they are.
Yeah.
But I can say this, and I don't have a problem saying this. And you know, if these folks want to get mad at me, get mad, but change it.
Right.
Let's change it.
Good.
When you sit and you look at the political landscape today, you look at one side, there's weirdos on one side and there's cowards on the other. And I will tell anybody this, and I'll tell them to their face, is one thing I can't tolerate is a man who's a coward.
Yes.
Just an abject coward.
Yes.
Who won't stand up and fight with his friends, who won't stand up and support their friends,
That's right.
who tucks tail and runs,
That's right.
who will bite on their nails and go, oh God, when something happens, oh my God, when something happens, when they clutch their pearls, oh God, they got stomach problems because something's going. Come on, give me a break.
So let me get this straight, Mark Robinson. You came forward and excoriated other Republicans for not having the courage to have your back, only for you to pop out a couple months later and say that you lied? He gonna start a podcast, watch. That's Maga Media Foundation right there.
For a long time, I was this very dual person who, on the one hand, understood that Jesus was calling me, God was calling me to be somebody, the person that he made me, but at the same time, also a very carnal person who wanted to laugh it up and feel good and be a provocateur and do things to make people look, and to do things that make people laugh and to shock people and to do the things that made me feel good, whether it was before I got married, whether it was sleeping around with a bunch of girls or whether it was just eating all the wrong foods and gaining a bunch of weight like I did, whatever it was, the carnal side of me was always out of control. And if you'd like, we can talk about where I believe that came from. But I think about that often, that's what set me up.
That dualism.
That dualism is what set me up.
Okay. The dualism is what set you up? You mean the same kind of dualism that is inside everybody is what sets you up? You were set up for failure by being a human being. Is that what you mean? Because while on the one hand, that could be understandable, what that would not explain is all of the quotes and all of the condemnation that you were thrusting at other people while the dualism was setting you up. And you knew it. Mark Robinson gonna be MAGA teaching tape. He gonna be MAGA teaching tape because you had all of this going on and you knew it, but that didn't stop you from standing up there and talking about we owe for slavery and this, that, and that. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And that wasn't even the worst part of your quote. Talking about I'm a carnal person, whether or not it's sleeping with a bunch of girls or eating a bunch of food and gaining all the weight. What you mean or? What you mean or? No, because we remember you took pizza into the shop. You took pizza into the video shop. Ain't no or. It's and. It's and, Mark Robinson.
It's one of the deepest regrets that I have. I feel like that I let an inordinate amount of people down simply because I didn't hearken to the voice of God earlier in my life and quell, like I said, the carnal urges that I had earlier in my life that caused me to do some of the things that allowed people to set me up to be hated.
Allowed me to do the things in my life that allowed other people to set me up to be hated. Who's the other people? You mean like the corn stars? OnlyFans? They set you up to be hated? Huh? Was it a video store manager? He set you up to be hated?
You're in a hotel room looking forward, going, everything I'm worried is now out. It's coming out. What do I do? How do I handle this?
Well, my initial my initial thought is, I want to fight this. I'm going to stand up. I want to tackle this head on. I want to get right in and tackle this head on. Tell people exactly what happened and how I think it happened and how it transpired.
Yeah, own what I need to own.
Own the parts of it that I need to own and disprove the parts of it that are not true. But I sat back and I thought about it and I said, there's not time. If this was a year before the election, there would be time. There was 8 weeks until the election.
Mark Robinson, how old are you? How old are you? So you had how many years for it to be time? You had how many years for it to be time? But magically, it's not time. This close to this. If they would have put out that CNN report on a Monday, I'd have came forward and said everything. I'd have said everything, but they put it out on a Wednesday. And a Wednesday just don't allow me enough time to get my full story out before the news cycle ends on Friday. So that needs to happen on Monday. Why didn't you just say it the following Monday? I had forgotten because the news cycle changed. And I had forgotten that they put that story out about me. I didn't even remember till I got in my car and I went back to the video store. They had closed down.
Oh my God.
There was 8 weeks until the election. That was 8 weeks before my election, of course, 8 weeks before the election of the president of the United States. And at this point, President Trump and I had become very good friends.
How good? Huh? How good? You in them files? Huh? Are you blacked out, Mark Robinson? I meant is your name blacked out? I know about it. Yeah.
And I realized how important it was for President Trump to win that race. And I knew that not only was I in the fight for my life, that the country literally was in the fight for its life. The country couldn't have stood 4 more years of Joe Biden-like policies, which would have come under President Trump's opponent.
So let me get this straight. Politics was more important than you being honest, open, and transparent. Am I right? Am I right? It was more important for Trump to get elected, apparently. Not you, though. Right? Not you. Well, I can't tell on myself because that will reflect on. I don't care about my race. I don't care about my race. You know what I mean? They could have me running a whole state from the back of the video shop. That happens, and it probably won't be the first time that it happened. But I don't want to mess up Trump. You just seeded how you put any amount of ethics and integrity on the back burner for the purpose of politics. I told you he was going to be MAGA teaching tape. I told you he was going to be MAGA teaching tape. Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Because at that point, I wanted to put everything on hold, stop everything, and fight this thing. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I'm not fighting this fight. I was not fighting this fight alone. The reason why this was done was not only to destroy me, it was done also to destroy everybody around me.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that CNN went and pulled the proverbial cover off of your dual life that even you acknowledge has been active for quite some time to destroy the people around you? The same people around you that you had no consideration for when you fell victim to your duality. You didn't consider them, but that's who CNN was looking to take down when they did their investigation. So now I'm protecting y'all. I'm protecting y'all I lied to protect you. That's really what it comes down to. I lied to protect you. You could go to the police if you want, and tell them what happened. But then if I get locked up, then I can't do right by you. You know what I mean? So I can't make you whole if I'm locked up. So, you know what I mean? Really, our interests are aligned right now.
Whatever we have to do right now to continue to fight towards the governor's mansion, that's what we decided to do. We did the absolute bare minimum in that instant with the issue at hand. We plugged the hole, so to speak.
Mark Robinson, don't say plug the hole. Don't say plug the hole. Not from you.
Oh God.
In this same moment today, is there something that you would go, I haven't owned this from this, and I need to own this?
Yeah, I think there is, and I very much want to talk about this, and I hope it doesn't upset my wife a great deal.
If you haven't already, I remember when that hit the timeline about your sister-in-law. If you still in the house, you go.
I really want to go back to my childhood. I don't know what it is, and I haven't figured it out yet. And I'm thinking, and I've told my wife this, I'm thinking that maybe I need to get a good therapist. Of course, a Christian therapist I think would be best. But I'd like to find out why throughout my entire life, I've been such a carnal person. I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's been that way. You remember I mentioned the newsstand downtown. You remember that? Yeah. Remember the newstand? Yeah. We used to go get comic books. Do you know why I like the newsstand and why I really liked it? What really intrigued me about the newsstand? The newsstand was a place where we go, and it was this open air newsstand. And when you walked in, there was a beatnik guy sitting up on a stool, wore a purple sweater all the time and horn-rimmed glasses. And he sat up on this little high stool overlooking the entire newsstand. Well, the newsstand was split in half. And on this side of the newsstand, there were periodicals like Time and Newsweek and newspapers and comic books. That's the side we went on. The other side of that newsstand.
Pizza. It was pizza, wasn't it?
The other side of that newsstand, there was pornography. And when I tell you I was fascinated with the other side of that newsstand, I used to go into that newsstand and just dream about what was on the other side of that newsstand. I used to want to sneak and go on the other side and see what was over there, And again, I don't know where that fascination came from in my life, but that's something that followed me as a young man, this obsession with pornography. I don't know where it came from.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You want to tell me about an obsession that you had, yet you were so bored while you were on the message board and on the website, you was posted about Kamala Harris and Meghan Markle and Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, you want to tell me you obsessed with it, but you talking politics on the other side of the newsstand. Make it make sense, Mark.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I know what it is. He wanted to own the other side of the newsstand. He wanted to make it his own. He was trying to run everybody else off there so he could be there by himself. You know what I mean? Same way he ran everybody out the video shop as soon as he broke out that Supreme. That's why. He was trying to run everybody else. If I talk my politics, if I open my mind and talk about the world that I want to see, they will leave. And now I can be here enjoying myself.
Yeah, boy.
I've never told my wife this, and I've never told anybody this. I felt worthless. I felt like I had let so many people down. I felt like I had disappointed an entire state, and in some ways, almost disappointed an entire nation.
Who you think Hubert Davis? Huh? You think you Hubert Davis? You disappointed the entire state of North Carolina? No. You think we was disappointed when we found out that the person that Donald Trump called Martin Luther King on steroids was out here buffering late at night, roaming from hot spot to hot spot? That's what you think? You should come out from under the curtain more and have more conversations. Open air conversations.
And I felt like I let myself down. And I had enrolled in school shortly thereafter, after I left the lieutenant governor's office. I enrolled at Liberty University to get my master's degree. And as I was sitting trying to study, I couldn't concentrate because I said, what are you getting a master's degree for? You don't deserve a master's degree. I mean, literally, that's what I'm saying to myself.
That was the first good thought that you had. Honestly, that one was solid. I can't argue with that one. I really can't argue with that one. Nor can I argue with the thought of going from having all of that come out publicly to sitting at Liberty University getting a master's degree. Mwah. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. I'm surprised they made you show up. I'm surprised they didn't just send you the master's degree when they got the K file.
When getting a master's degree is not going to make you any smarter. You're the biggest idiot on the planet. You had the world laid out at your feet. But because you can't shut your mouth and because you can't temper your tongue, and because when you were a young man, you couldn't stand up and act like what God had created you to be, that's when it was miserable.
Mark Robinson, how you know the world was laid out at your feet? Huh? How you know that? I know you ain't seen it. How do you know that? Is that what Trump told you? Is that what Trump told you? Did he know what's laid out at his feet?
Put on a brave face. My wife kind of knows the story, but she don't know the whole story. And he said dark. It got dark.
That's when it got dark.
And when I say it got dark, it got real dark.
How dark, Mark Robinson? How dark? Nude Africa dark? Was it Nude Africa dark?
If I pull my this whole room get dark. Kick it!
If you can go back to that moment, do you make the same decision? In the moment, story breaks, you're looking at it, you're seeing the details of it going, I got to own some of this.
No, I do the exact same thing. I do the exact same thing. Because again, like I said, it wasn't, at that moment, it wasn't about me. And honestly, it never was about me. For the people who were doing it to me, it wasn't about me. It was about a cause much bigger than that. And they knew that they could use me to destroy the people around me, up to and including the president. They would do it.
Yeah, I mean, why you publish this, man? Why you publish this? You should have just ran him saying, oh my God, over and over again. That's all.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
That's all this man ain't learned nothing. He would do the same thing and think it. North Carolina. Come on. Now, how many votes did he get? How many votes did he get in North Carolina?
Wow. So, we've talked and I love your candor of even talking about your conversations with your pastor.
I would be curious to know what those conversations are like that he had with his pastor, because what I'm looking at is somebody who it's everybody else's fault. They were out to get the people around me. I had to protect the president. I would do the same thing over again, but I've been suffering with this my entire life. That didn't stop me from all of the venom and toxicity I spewed from a place of complete and utter insecurity and sadness. Maga, they should put a whole tagline on that. They should put a whole tagline on that. I am curious, though, because he seems to have the most issue with the people that wanted him to come clean. You know, the thing that you're doing now. You seem to have the most issue with the people that wanted that for you earlier in your life. But the ones that were telling you to hold fast, the ones that wanted you to suppress it for political reasons are the people that you're still riding with. And whenever you finish therapy for obsessing about the other side of the newsstand, you're going to have to go right back for pick me. You're going to have to go right, because that's nasty work.
This is egregious work. This is nasty, egregious work.
Maga pastor John Amanchukwu, who steadfastly defended his friend Mark Robinson amid the allegations, only for Robinson to finally admit they were true, declares he betrayed my trust.
To bring up President Trump's name, I think that's a cheap shot. It's a safe way for you to escape responsibility. You didn't do it to protect anyone but yourself. I mentioned that me and him had a explosive conversation this past Friday, and he was supposed to come on my show to address this issue. I thought that, hey, since I had him on nearly 4 or 5 times in the past, that he would come back on and address my audience. But today I'm standing before you by myself alone because he agreed to come on the show, and he told me that he has some contractual agreements and that he's working on his own show. And so therefore he's not able to come on my show and address this problem. There were many people who told me that I shouldn't trust him. There are many people that told me that there was additional information that could potentially come out about him. But I would bring that up to him and tell him, hey man, this is what I'm hearing. What's true and what's not. And once again, he would categorically deny everything. And so therefore, attempting to be a good friend and not thinking about what's in the best interest of me, but that I would truly just be a friend to Mark Robinson, once again, he betrayed my trust.
One thought. A little grift on grift action. Keep fleecing the flock. There it is. Oh, how about one more?
But wait, there's more.
Grifter v. grifter. Cool. Yeah. I can see why you're mad. I can definitely see why you're mad, but we letting them fight. Yeah, we letting them fight anymore. So, it is what it is. I can tell you this, Mark Robinson. It is hilarious to me for you to say that you were trying to protect the president, given all that protection of you that they did. Yeah. I can tell you this. Donald Trump's dumpster is full of your kind.
Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. That's good. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good.
Let's see. We got John Maples who lost. We got Patricia Easley who lost. We got my man Mark Robinson. Of course, we got Wesley Hunt. And who can forget Winsome Sears? I wonder the next time he'll pay you a compliment. I wonder the next time he'll liken you to a historical black figure. You think that'll happen ever again? Oh, that is funny. Winsome Sears. I'm speaking. I am speaking! Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I would like to wish you a happy Women's History Month. Shout out to all the women whose hard work makes this channel go.
I ain't the one, baby.
Wait a minute. No, because you got Miss Ray doing the mods, and you got Regina doing the research, and your wife be doing the admin. You got nothing but women up here. This a whole DEI operation. I'm telling Trump. Nah, I'm telling Trump. This is a whole DEI thing you got going on here. What you mean, what's DEI?
How do you interpret DEI?
And I would also like to shout out all the women who show up and support the channel every single day. People like Gigi, the crochet queen, who sent me this. Love your channel. Here's a pic of me wearing the Who Raised Y'all t-shirt. I love it. Excellent quality. It's in my weekly rotation. Be blessed and keep informing us in only the Reese way. You make me feel like a natural woman. I'm yours. I see you, Gigi. Now, I had a babysitter that liked to crochet. I didn't know you was the queen, though. And she's not going to take that well. She is not going to take that well.
I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no.
People like Kel, who sent me, I took time out of my day to send you this. Quiet as it's kept. I hate taking pictures due to my big-backed activities, but I wanted to show my support. I love your channel. Woman to woman. Kel, honestly, if it wasn't for big-backed activities, I wouldn't have no activities. That's what I put down. I just had my physical, and for activities, I put big back. That's what I do there.
Yeah, boy. That's it. That lovely.
I enjoy watching your Who Raised Y'all segment so much, I just had to cop that merch. Keep bringing the truth and the funny to us 99% bottom feeders of the world. Also, good to know that we have great taste in Basquiat and Marley. Bless up. From Yolanda from Wakanda. Man, the best thing about being a woman is the ability to have a little fun. I'm sensing a theme with the women and the Who Raised Y'all shirt. I'm also sensing a theme from you, Yolanda. What's that you smoking? I can smell it from here. Hey, I used to be a backslider. I used to be a backslider. And we got to show some love to Auntie Sugar, who sent me her Who Raised Y'all mug and a face that can only be described as quintessential Who Raised Y'all. Like, that's the quintessential Who Raised Y'all look right there. Honestly, that look should be on a t-shirt.
He's right, you know.
To all of you, happy Women's History Month. We do this every single year, right? Put up posters with the elegant fonts, pick the safe names, the ones who've been gone long enough that their anger doesn't make us uncomfortable anymore. We hand out the awards for Women's History Month. We hold the luncheons and act like we're doing someone a favor by granting them 31 days of recognition, as if history was ours to give away in the first place. And let's all take a moment, because we just came out of Black History Month, and it's bad enough that we've whitewashed history to the point where we have to go out of our way to recognize Black people. But Black people are, 12% of the population? Women are half, 51% on a good day. And we have mansplained history to the point where we have to take a month to specifically acknowledge the contributions of half the population.
This doesn't make a lick of sense.
Even then, it's a lie. A comfortable, well-packaged lie, but a lie nonetheless. We talk about women's history like it's a separate wing of the building, like a special interest project. We act like men built the foundation, laid the brick, and wired the electricity, and every once in a while a woman walked in and hung a nice picture on the wall. That ain't how it went down. The bricks were held together by the labor we refused to pay for. The foundation was dug by women whose names we scrubbed off the blueprints. Every great man we worship in our textbooks was standing on the shoulders of a woman who was told to stay quiet so he could speak louder. We spent centuries taking their ideas and calling them discovery, taking their resilience and calling it duty, taking their silence and calling it consent. And now we want to be thanked for giving them a month, for acknowledging that, yes, actually, They were here the whole time. If you want to honor history, stop treating it like a memorial service for something that's over. It's happening right now. It's in the room where she's being talked over. It's in the lab where she's doing the work while he's getting the funding. It's in the home where she's holding the world together while we take credit for the gravity. Don't give them a month. Give them the microphone. And then have the courage to sit down and listen to the history they're making while we're busy pretending we're the ones in charge of the clock. Now, we're going to talk about the ones who carried the signs, the ones who flew the planes, the ones who refused to get up from the seat, and we should. But keep in mind, history isn't just the woman in the oil painting or the black and white photograph. History is the woman who taught her neighbor to read in secret because the law said her mind was a dangerous thing. It's the mother who worked 3 jobs so her daughter wouldn't have to work 1. It's the scientist whose name was left off the paper, the artist whose work was signed by her husband, and the millions of women whose history was simply survival. Because where would we be without it? They aren't just a contribution to the story. They are the story. Happy Women's History Month. When a man loves a woman. I don't know what happens then. That's kind of been my problem.